Hey, Shalom Yasharallah. Kahalal Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Krahakadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives to do so. To the scattered hopeful elect across the four corners of the earth, and those among the heathen nations that look like the heathen nations, pursuant to Jeremiah 12 and 9, known as the speckled birds. This is not a black thing. I am the disciple of Parium, a follower of Great Millstone, coming to you with a lesson in truth and sincerity. This lesson is going to be going into, I'm going to be titling this lesson, Be Not Amongst Soothsayers. Be not amongst soothsayers. So this picture that you see below, we were some that we do as a family, but I was just noticed that this vendor table across from us was doing psychic sessions. Okay, and it had an itty bitty little tent between these two vendor tables. And what do you see there? You see, I'm gonna zoom in. You see Jake right here, right, and you see Eve sitting down right there. Look at that. And she's like, "Oh yeah, baby, let's go ahead and have our palms read," or whatever the fuck it is they do, right? And that's wicked. He should have, obviously he's not in the truth. You see him, he got his long hair right there. He don't have locks, you know what I mean? So you see, Jay's going off, right? But, look at this person in the background like, I don't know about this. You see by the little yellow cooler. But anyway, so, she sat down and wanted to get her palm read or whatever, right? This is going off, okay? And I want to go into some precepts and one of the stories, and there's a couple stories within the Old Testament that go into divination and soothsaying, all right? Or you could also say, a person who's a medium, one who speaks to, souls and who are already dead, all right? So, with that, without any further ado, let's go get our first precept. I want to go to Leviticus 19, verse 31. And it reads, "Regard not them that have familiar spirits, neither seek after wizards, to be defiled by them. I am the Lord Yahweh, your power." All right, so in the NLT it says, "Do not defile yourselves by turning to mediums or to those who consult the spirits of the dead." All right, and that's what this lady's doing right here, So, and then the reason is, I want to go into the why of Leviticus 19:31. So now let's go to Deuteronomy 18 and 9. And it's going to be Deuteronomy 18, 9 through 14, we're going to read, okay? And it tells you right there, you see it. Spiritualism forbidden, okay? A call to holy living. All right? So it says, "When thou art come into the land which the Lord Yahweh thy power giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations." Verse 10, "There shall not be found among you any one that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire," right? Modern day, I'll say some small portions, okay? Or that uses divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer, right? One who's speaking with the spirits of the dead. Verse 12, "For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Lord Yahweh. And because of these abominations, the Lord thy power doth drive them out from before thee. Verse 13. Thou shalt be perfect with the Lord Yahweh thy power. For these nations which thou shalt possess hearkeneth unto observers of times, and unto diviners. But as for thee, the Lord Yahweh thy power shall not suffer thee so to do. So, we're not to learn of and to do after these abominations of those nations. Once this is going, obviously they're going to the land of Canaan, right? But still today, this is the law, right? The laws are not grievous, they're not hard, right? If you obviously we can't follow them, to the T. Like it says in the book of James, if you break one law, you break all the laws, okay? But we do them to the best of our abilities, okay? And we live circumspectly. So, we know that there's a story, I believe in the book of 1 Samuel, and I'm going to get it here in a little bit. But, Saul went off. He was seeking a medium to speak to the spirit of Samuel, who was the first prophet, right? Because the Philistines were coming upon Saul, and they're getting ready to get their ass, and Saul, what was going off at that time. Saul began, righteous, but then over time he just didn't have the patience. He didn't know how to suffer and how to trust in the Lord Yahweh. Okay, so there was a lack of faith. This is 1 Samuel 28. Let's go there real quick. I believe it's verse 9. So we see that Samuel had died, verse 3, and all Israel had mourned, right? Let's see. I believe it talks about how Saul, let's see, slack his bear with me for a second. Because Saul actually went into those lands, and he got rid of a lot of those mediums and smote them. Let's see. Here it goes right here. This is verse 3. It says right here. It says, and Saul had put away those that had familiar spirits and the wizards out of the land. You see that? Let's see. And the Philistines, there was a war that was brewing right there. They gathered into the, let's see, and Shunem is where they gathered, and they were getting ready to come up against Israel, right? And when Saul saw the host of the Philistines, he was afraid, and his heart greatly trembled. And remember, Samuel had just passed away, right? He was in the spirit world. It's lucky. Let's see. Right here, verse 6. Saul inquired the Lord, and the Lord answered him not, neither by dream, nor by Urim, nor by the prophets. All right? Verse 7. Then Saul said Saul unto his servants, seek me a woman that hath a familiar spirit, that I may go to her and inquire of her. And his servant said to him, behold, there is a woman that hath a familiar spirit in Endor. And look at this. And Saul disguised himself. He knew he was going off. Right? We just read the law, right? And he put on other raiment, thinking that the Lord's not going to see this. Right? And he went, and two men with him, and they came to a woman by night, and he said, I pray thee, divine unto me by the familiar spirit, and bring me him up and bring me him up, whom I shall name unto thee. See, all right. And the woman said unto him, Behold, thou knowest that what Saul hath done, right? You know, he got rid of all the people with familiar spirits, and you know, people who are doing necromancy and all these things, right, in that land. So how he hath cut off those that have familiar spirits and the wizards out of the land. Wherefore thou layest a snare for my life to cause me to die. So he's like, why are you setting a trap for me, right? And she doesn't know this is Saul. Remember, Saul's, trying to be incognito, right? Verse 10, and Saul sware to her by the Lord, saying, The Lord liveth there, shall be no punishment happen to thee for these things. And look at verse 11. It says, Then said the woman, Whom shall I bring up unto thee? And he said, Bring me up Samuel. He said, Call up Samuel. He's already in the spirit world, right? And when the woman saw Samuel, she cried with a loud voice, and she was, freaked out because, Samuel didn't play either. I believe he killed Samuel had killed King Agag because Saul didn't do that. Saying, saying, Why hast thou deceived me? For thou art Saul. And the king said unto her, Be not afraid, for what sawest thou? And the woman said unto Saul, I saw gods ascending out of the earth. Let's see. Let's jump down to verse 16. So basically, Saul was being a hypocrite. He got rid of the diviners out of the land, and yet he's seeking them, right? Because he wanted to talk to Saul, thinking that Saul could help him out with the Philistine problem, when Yahweh didn't even answer him, right? So go down to 16. Then said Samuel, right, once he was called up by this necromancer, right? Wherefore then dost thou ask of me, seeing the Lord is departed from you, or from thee, and is become thine enemy? And the Lord hath done to him as he spake by me. For the Lord Yahweh hath rent the kingdom out of thine hand and given to thy neighbor, even to David, right? And this is Saul was also kind of wrong with David too, because thou obeyest not the voice of the Lord Yahweh, nor executest his fierce wrath upon Amalek. Therefore hath the Lord done these things unto thee this day. And obviously, look who's in charge of the world right now. It's Amalek, right? This is the great grandson of Esau, Edom, the head tribe. Okay, so we're going through the things that we're going through in this world right now, prophetically speaking, because of these actions that Saul did not do right unto Yahweh. Okay, so all these things occurred from Saul's disobedience. And basically, that was I think it was 1 Samuel chapter 15, where verse 9. But Saul and the people spared Agag and the best of the sheep and of the oxen and of the fatlings and of the lambs and all that was good, and would not utterly destroy them. They didn't destroy Amalek like he was told to, right? But everything that was vile and refused, that they destroyed utterly. So, Saul was going off. Now let's go to the book of Exodus, chapter 17, verse 16. All right, so now here I'll go ahead and read the verse. For he said, because the Lord Yahweh have sworn that the Lord Yahweh will have war with Amalek from generation to generation, and they're here today. Okay, Numbers 24 and 20. And it reads, Let's see, yeah. And when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be he perish forever. And that's, yeah, that's going to happen. Okay. All right. That is going to happen. And because, obviously right now we see that Amalek, is the least of the flock is drawing them out. They're drawing everybody to that area and to that region, close to Hamar Gadwan, Valley of Decisions. Okay. Let's go to the book of Hosea 4 and 6. It says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power. I will also forget thy children. Our people, they don't reverence knowledge, And look at this guy. I mean, he should at least told his woman, hey, I don't feel good about this. Let's talk about this, something. No, he just gave in. Straight simp. Okay. Let's go to Isaiah 47. Verses 13 to 15. I'm going to read this in the NLT. And it reads, all the advice you receive has made you tired. Where are all your astrologers, those stargazers who make predictions each month? Let them make up and save you from what the future holds. But they are like the straw burning in a fire. They cannot save themselves from the flame. You will get no help from them at all. Their heart is no place to sit for warmth. Verse 15. And all your friends, those with whom you've done business since childhood, will go their own ways, turning a deaf ear to your cries. And those are the ones who will be in order. They don't know you. It's just how the Lord said, and I don't know you. They know you going off. Ephesians 5. I'm going to read verses 18 to 21. It's lucky, this has been on my spirit to do this lesson for quite some time. So, verse 18, Ephesians 5 and 18. Don't be drunk with wine, because that will ruin your life. Instead, be filled with the Holy Spirit. And it's not talking about wine. This is talking about, these other philosophies. Okay? Verses 19. Singing psalms and hymns and spiritual songs amongst yourselves, and making music to the Lord in your hearts. And give thanks for everything in Yahweh the Father, in the name of our Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. Alright? Verse 21. And further submit to one another out of reverence for Hamashiach. This is how we should be. Alright? Not following in other vain doctrines of men. Alright? Especially, stuff that's wicked, that goes down to, to the time of the Babylonians. Alright? So yeah, so you shouldn't, basically, you need to submit yourselves to one another in the fear of Yahweh, not to some soothsayer. Now let's go to 1 Peter 3 and 7. It says, in the same way, your husbands must give honor to your wives. I'll read the NLT. Actually, I'll read the KJV. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor to the wife, right, as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. And here you see their prayers being hindered. Obviously, you're not supposed to even pray in public, or do these kind of things in public. This is straight up wicked, Um, so you're supposed to be like, praying in secret, you know, to the Lord, like it says in Matthew's, I think it's 6:6. It says, "But thou, when thou prayest, enter into the closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to the Father which is in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly." Okay? What they're doing right now in that picture, they're not being rewarded openly. You want to know how you destroy a nation of people? You go after the woman, all right, as the weaker vessel. And that's happened, all right? You see it here. With that, though, I pray this lesson is edifying. Again, this lesson has been titled, Be Not Amongst Soothsayers. So, Kwame Yasharallah, Shalom, on to the next.